All right, time is now 6 p.m. and I'll call to order our Board of Directors meeting for the McMinnville Fire District on June 27th at 6 p.m. And first, we have roll call of directors.
President Garvin,
Here.
Vice President Smith is absent. Secretary Pratt,
Here.
Treasurer Traff,
Here.
Director Sparrow.
Here. All right, next up, we have Pledge of Allegiance and call on Treasurer Traff to lead us now.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for that. Brings us to changes to the agenda. Any changes? Okay. Consent agenda, we have the minutes from our 6/13 meeting.
Reviewed them and they look perfectly now and we can approve this.
Thank you. A motion by Secretary Pratt and a second by Director Sparrow. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion passes unanimously 4-0. Next up, we have our financial report for year 24. No.
Thank you, Mr. President. So in your packets, we did have a P&L for you. I will tell you that was from Monday, I believe it was. We've had some expenditures, several $100,000 expenditures come through with PERS. One of the big one.
Loan to the city.
Oh yeah, the loan, the $23,000 loan payment. So just FYI, there's about $350-ish difference in what you see here as of today. So those were both paid, or they both came out directly today. So, but we still are in the, 2.6 million carryover perspective.
All right, any questions around that? No. Seeing none, we'll move on to public comment.
I got a couple more if you don't mind. I handed out, again, these are new too, but I thought they were important information and good information to discuss in this financial report. I think everybody should, even the audience should have a copy. I just wanted to kind of go over our ambulance collection statistics to date. That's one thing we haven't brought a lot to you as the board. A couple key items that I wanted. This is, by the way, this is 23 and 24 numbers, as you can see at the top. Couple things that I just want to point out is if you look at May 23 at 447 billable calls to today at 537 billable calls and 90 billable call difference per, for that same time period. We've set records multiple months over the last 5-ish months. And every month we continue to set a record of additional billable transports. So it's kudos to the crews for all of their hard work. Kudos to Jenny for all of her work of tracking, billing, sending it all up to our billing agency that we contract with. The trends are good. I think that there's I sat down with Jenny and talked a little bit, what are some of the reasons behind these? I think it's a couple. Our day car is staffed now with 2 two full-time single roles, peak activity car, as well as about February timeframe, we switched our model a little bit where we had a BLS car, but then we had a car with two paramedics on it. And we kind of did a little transition where we took a paramedic off of the two paramedic car, put it on the two EMT cars. So we went to 5 ALS medic units. Because a lot of times, you know, when we were averaging 400 plus move ups a year, we actually had an ambulance, but it was a BLS ambulance available. So we'd move an ALS ambulance up to help cover us. Now we don't ask for that move up unless all 5 of our ambulances are out. So capturing those calls have been significant. But I just wanted to bring this to your attention because obviously the crews are working harder. Their call volumes are going up, which again is a staffing concern, as we've talked about many times. But also fiscally, we're doing everything we can to capture these calls internally that are within our ASA and do provide, you know, revenue resources for our staff. So I just wanted to point that out. I'm happy to answer any questions, but I just point that out. Questions on that? And then one last thing, in this, both of our, I just wanted to give you a heads up, both of our loans funded today. And that is the payoff of the Key Bank loan through the city. That was funded today. We can see it was funded. Our consultant can see it was funded. First Federal can see it was funded electronically. We have not heard back from Key Bank. We've asked multiple times, just, hey, confirm please that you received this. We're very confident that it funded. So we did receive that other $300,000+ into our account also, which will go towards, which we'll talk about here in a minute, but will go towards the ambulance purchases. Remember a couple meetings ago, as well as our $4.5 million loan that will get us from the July 1st to approximately December 1st. So both of those were completed, both of them were funded, and we've received all those monies in our banks. So those are all good news.
Any questions around that?
And that's
Being none, we'll now move to public comment. This is a part of the meeting, anybody from the public can speak on anything regarding district business. We have to not to exceed 3 minutes per person. We get any comment cards tonight? And anybody on Zoom besides what I see? All right, last call for public comment. We'll close public comment and move on to our action items. First up, we have resolution number 2024-04, adoption of fiscal year 24-25 budget. And I'll call on Chief Godfrey to present.
So as you recall, at our last budget committee meeting, the budget committee did recommend a budget to the board. This does lay out the funding structure in which was approved by the budget committee and moved to the board for discussion and discussion with potential changes or approval and adoption by the board. It is required that the board adopt the budget prior to July 1st. So with that, I'll turn it over to you guys and of course, answer any questions if you have any.
Questions related to the budget?
That went over that last meeting, is that correct?
Yeah, the 13th meeting was one of our longer meetings of the last year. If no questions for Chief relating to the budget, I'll entertain a motion to approve resolution 2024-04.
I'll make the motion to approve resolution number 2024-04.
In a second.
Second.
All right, so I have a motion by Treasurer Trapp and a second by Director Sparrow. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously 4-0. That'll take us to back up here. Item B, approval to purchase new SCBA's.
Thank you, Mr. President. So in your packet, you have the quotes from for the additional SCBA's. These are to complement the SCBA's that we did receive from the Confederated Tribes of Grand Ronde. This is to completely switch out all of our packs to the newer generation packs. These are the same packs that we received. This does include bottles. It does include the masks and the remaining masks that we needed to fully complement the ones that we got for free from the tribe. It is over my budget authority, although we have talked about it and discussed it, and I believe you're on board with it, but due to the fact that it's $182,000, which is budgeted for, I wanted to bring it to the board for your approval before moving forward with the contract for SCBA's.
Any questions around SCBA's?
Does each person have their personal mask or is it a shared system?
They will have their personal masks after this purchase. Right now, we're on a shared kind of round robin, if you will. But once this purchase is complete, yes, everyone will have their own masks and we'll have spare masks.
And this includes a maintenance contract as well, or so?
We are discussing that later. It is not a maintenance contract. We do have money in here for one of two things. If we did budget for two, it's not in here, it's in a separate bid. We can either send two people to technician school, or Chief Hannafin and I discussed today whether or not we're gonna do like a contract for service. We did budget for that one way or another. It's a separate line item though. And we'll see what they can provide, if they can provide what it is we need. Otherwise, we did budget for two individuals to get SCBA trained to be able to complete that maintenance.
Okay.
How many spare packs does that include? Do we?
Chief Hannafin?
I'm gonna let you think about this for a second. It would leave us, I think, with at least a vehicle's worth, so at least 5 to 6.
Okay.
The intent is to still outfit the squad, even though it's not a combat vehicle any longer. But we would outfit the squad, and those would, because it's our air rig, if you will. And that way we would have a complement for them, for on that vehicle on fires if either a chief officer needed one and or we had a pack failure.
Any other questions around airpack contract? I guess only other, last time we did SCBA's, we kind of got like the last of the discontinued model. These are current model packs.
These are current model packs. Yes,
And they're all brand new, they're not refurbished.
these are not refurbished. Nor were the ones that we got for free. They were all brand new also.
So
Nice.
if no further questions, I would entertain a motion for the chief to move forward with purchase of new SCBA's for under the Curtis contract terms.
I'd make that motion. Proceed.
We have a motion by Director Sparrow for SCBA purchase
Second that.
and a second by Secretary Pratt. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. That brings us to other business. First up, we have board committee and liaison reports. Anything new on LoSAP or same old?
Yeah, nothing. So,
All right, and then we have branding. I know there was a couple things on there. Is there anything updated branding wise from any branding committee members in the room?
Todd, did you have anything?
Yeah.
Great, thank you.
Should I get closer to that?
Take a look at me.
Yesterday we pulled all the letters off the side of the building, out front here where it said McMinnville Fire Department. The nice thing is you can't really tell that something was there. That was a big concern that we had. The reason everything came down is, our vendor believes that they can match the letters very closely, but because the ones have been out in the weather for close to 40 years, He's gonna shine everything up and make everything look identical. So it will say McMinnville Fire District and everything should match across the whole front of the building. Also, we are close. We haven't completely signed a deal yet, but for replacing the two signs on the corners, one on Baker and Second and one on Adams and First. I do have some designs, or we have some approved designs from the branding committee on that, and we're close to hit and go on that. Below it, we'll give a station identifier, so we'll have a sign that could move if, you know, we're not in station 12 anymore. It can move to a different station, and then a station identifier if we call something different in a different location. So we tried to keep some things flexible with some of those changes. We have not completely decided on what to do with the vehicles yet. We have a lot of different options out there. Another option was kind of kicked around today as well. So we haven't moved forward with anything with the vehicles yet. Challenge coin, we haven't gotten anywhere with the challenge coin, I don't believe yet. And the flag, just some very preliminary things on doing a flag for us have been kicked around. We're really close on the building stuff, and I do have a promise that will be done before our 150th. So all that will be done, and then the vehicles should be done by the 150th from the vendors we spoke to. So all that stuff will be dialed. Okay.
All right, the update. Next up we have board. Anybody wants to share there? All right, so I'll take us to department reports, back up with local 3099.
Glad I didn't move. Two things that we have, firefighters dance, July 12th. Is happening. It will be at the Bindery. It's from 5 to 10 p.m. with Johnny Limbo and the Lugnuts performing again, just like the old days. We do have vendors doing turkey dinners. Cost is $40 a ticket. That includes a turkey dinner, one drink, and entrance to the concert. It is a dual effort between both the local and the volunteer association, with any net proceeds being split between the two. Local 3099 plans to start a benevolence fund, something we haven't had in the past and something that we've needed more recently with that. And I don't want to speak on behalf of volunteers, but they do a lot of good things in the community with the funds that they raise. If anybody wants to help with that, reach out to Ryan Zollinger. He's kind of organizing that for us. You can reach out to me and I can get you guys a contact if you don't have his info. But that's the big thing coming down July 12th. And then we have a lot of interest, and we are pushing again for the softball tournament sometime August, September that we did last year. That was a fundraiser for Build a Boot, muscular dystrophy. We have more teams reaching out this year than we had last year. So hopefully a bigger event, and keeps getting bigger and bigger. But look for that coming down the pipe in the future.
Thank you.
Questions? Cool.
Thank you.
Next up, we have McMinnville Volunteer Firefighter Association. I don't see anybody in the room. I don't see anybody on Zoom either. That takes us to fire chief's report, and first up is DC3 and Zipley update.
I'm gonna jump ahead because I see Chief Law on, and one of the things I have that I've added due to yesterday's events. Our task force, the Yamhill County Task Force, is out in the Pine on the fire. And they were deployed at 1 o'clock in the morning, got over yesterday while doing some mop-up stuff and some protecting the structures. The wind changed, the fire grew. They went into a rock quarry area and saved about $7 million. The Yamhill County Task Force specifically saved about $7 million worth of structures and equipment. There is a post from the Office of State Fire Marshal. It is also reposted on our Facebook page, but the Yamhill County crews did a phenomenal job. And Chief Law, do you have anything to add, or if the board has any questions for the task force?
I don't have anything to add right now. We're just getting ready to head into camp. But if anybody has any questions, I'm happy to answer.
So they're deployed at least for a couple more days likely. And, but they're doing really good work over there, and super proud of them, and they got some kudos on the state's website, so.
Thanks.
Well worth the effort. We sent, sorry, that's what I meant to say. We sent a brush rig with a volunteer and Chief Law. And then we sent one of our fire and life safety volunteers, Chris Mayfield, as the red team. I believe he's a resource unit leader for the red incident management team from the Office of State Fire Marshal. So both those vehicles are out, as well as both those crews are out from McMinnville specifically. Proud of their efforts.
Thank you, Chief Law and Volunteer Cummins that are over there.
VC3 and Zipley update. VC3, we had a status meeting today. We are starting to get some equipment that's being sent here, some technical equipment that's being sent to them to have be set up. We are still waiting for Zipley to provide internet into the station. The good news, start good side. The good news is we have found a way into the station. It took a lot longer than I had hoped, but we do have a path forward. We do have some engineering or some permitting with the city now. The city has been very diligently working with us. Chief Darby, who's on, has been the lead on that and kind of trying to push that through. The city's been very receptive. Once we get that, then they can start their process of getting the internet in. BC3 is still working alongside of them, doing the stuff that they can do without the internet. They're getting ready to start putting up some of the equipment and things that they don't need to actually have the internet for. I did give them, we did extend with the city our IT contract, which we were allowed to do via our IGA. The city manager was very accommodating to us. We have extended it through September, but I have given VC3 and Zipley a drop dead date of September 1st to have us switched over. And I talked to them about that today. So much appreciated by the city manager to continue to provide us IT. The IT department with the city still provides our services, but I'm ready to get that moved forward and on. Questions on that one? AP Triton, we did have our kickoff meeting 2 days ago, I believe it was. We did get our Dropbox yesterday, and now the work begins. I looked at it until my eyes crossed and I passed out. There's a lot of work to do, but we're going to get on it next week. I will be splitting the different categories, if you will, to different personnel within the organization, and we'll get to work on providing that information back to AP Triton. They think 90 days from the time in which we provide the information to them. I have already reached out prior to this, reached out to our partners like at YCOM and things like that, people who we'll have to use to get some information from. They've been given a heads up and they're willing to work with us to help us get some of that information. So it'll be a big uplift. It's going to be a lot of work, time consuming, but we're dedicated and we'll get it done and get it done in a timely manner so we can get our reports back and start working on those. Questions on that? We're still currently in contract negotiations with the union. We are at a point now where we're starting to set up meeting times with Local 3099. So that will be moving forward. And we'll start actually sitting down at the table and discussing the different articles and the different packages, if you will, for negotiations. New medics, we got a picture. I apologize. I should have CC'd you guys on it or blank copied you on it. I did not. I will send that after this meeting. We did get pictures of one of our new ambulances that's actually completed. So we are still on our time frame for July 8th, not us to receive it, but Springfield to receive it. We did approve the striping. Basically what we did is, I think as you all know, it's a white ambulance because it's a demo ambulance. So what we did was we just inversed the striping. So it's a white ambulance with red striping instead of a red ambulance with white striping like we have now. So we use the same scheme, if you will, but just inversed it. So both are still on track, for the August 9th and July 8th, delivery time. So that's pretty exciting. I think for all of us, and it's definitely much needed and appreciated by the board for approving, that purchase. Question on that one?
The pickup dates, or are they actually gonna be delivered here on those dates?
That'll more rely on us. It's us going down there, doing the, receiving checks. But, days, I mean, it's not gonna be down there. If there's some issues that we find, they gotta fix a door handle or light or something like that, but it shouldn't be but days.
And then they still get outfitted and.
Yep, we'll get them outfitted, we'll get them licensed. Chief Hannafin, we're pros now since we just, did one a couple months ago. But Chief Hannafin will run that through, we'll get it licensed, get it equipped. It is an ambulance going out of service to put in service, so, we'll work on that. Get them all outfitted in a timely manner and get them on the street. I'm sorry, Secretary Pratt, they do need to go to the radio shops from the vendor. But we've already made communications with the radio shops. We've already ordered the radios and we've already approved the programming. So it'll just be an install. We did run the wiring and such, so it's a fairly quick install. And then it will come here. Chief Law's still on. I put in your packet because I thought it was important. Chief Law put together just kind of a synopsis of what the training division's doing, and I think it's important to send these out so you guys can see the work that everybody's putting in, from operations to fire and life safety to training to admin. And these are going on in addition to everything that we just talked about with things like negotiations and AP training and Ziply and VC3 and so we're busy, but we've got good attitudes. The line's got good attitudes. They're working hard, running a lot of calls. And the staff is also working hard. So we got a lot going on, but they're doing a lot of really good things. We had a burn this last weekend for the new probationary, or new, I shouldn't say probationary, but new volunteers. And that went really well. Chief Law and his team did a really good job. The volunteers got a lot of good lights and a lot of good fire behavior. And we also did interviews for the, I'll call it single role tender operator, if you will. Volunteers, both of which that we interviewed are past volunteers that wanted to come back non-combat, but want to come back and still provide a service, be able to, drive the tender or drive our squad or those types of things, get the heavy apparatus out the door. So they'll be working on their task books and their checkoffs to get them on the road much sooner than later. And that's what I have for my report, sir.
Thank you. Any questions for Chief?
I'm sorry, if one go back, my bad. We will be posting for the, we have done job description and a position analysis for the mechanic position, the fleet mechanic position. We will be posting that on July 1st. And we will be hiring that position as soon as possible, as discussed in both budget committee, but also at the board meetings. We've got a large fleet with a lot of preventative maintenance needed. I think it's very important that we get somebody on to be able to establish that preventative maintenance, as well as the maintenance that we need internally for the larger ticket items. The brush rig that Chief Law is on right now, they were at Napa today for an issue that's a known issue. We haven't had time to fix the actual issue. So those types of things, I'm really looking forward to, permanent fixes, if you will, for our apparatus. So I did get a report that engine 16, the old engine 16 did go on a fire and halfway today. It did make it, it did pump, and the fire did go out. So that's a good thing. And that's all I have.
Thank you for that. That'll take us to correspondence. Anybody get any emails or anything like that?
You should have received an email. If you did not, we provided your email addresses to Water and Light. They are asking or inviting, I should say, the board of directors to the 2024 infrastructure tour of Water and Light on August 1st. If you haven't received that email, you should get that email very shortly. They asked for your email specifically, so they were provided a day or two ago.
That's an interesting and enlightening tour. If you've never been up at Watershed, seen the treatment facility, I think this year they're doing a substation tour as well.
Oh, what's your budget for the day?
Typically get back between 2 and 3. Serve you a good lunch up there, and
Yeah, they provide lunch too.
so. If you have time, you're retired, be a good day.
Give you the day off.
Yeah.
Check your schedule and get back to us.
All right, and then that takes us to informational items. Just a reminder, we're going to 1 meeting per month, starting first of the fiscal year. So our next meeting will be Thursday, July 25th at 6 p.m. or 1800, and going to 1 meeting. Probably will have longer meetings and a little bit more work. So. Yeah.
The operation in utility county. Are we capable of sending any other apparatus or people?
I haven't seen a second configuration. There was one just south of the Dalles, but it's been buttoned up. I only know of the one configuration right now. To answer your question. Oh, it just launched, huh?
Earlier today.
Got ya. We will evaluate every request on a case by case basis. With that said, we wouldn't likely get tapped, just because there's 36 counties, I believe there is. And there would be closer counties, and so they would likely pull from those counties first. Moltco, Washington, Clack, those type of counties, Grant, Morrow, and such. So we will always evaluate a request, but I think I said this before, but we evaluate it from an operational readiness, an apparatus readiness, and a fiscal readiness. So the way it works here at McMinnville now, Chief Law gets a notification from the Fire Defense Board Chief Hannafin, myself, and Chief Law look at it. She looks at it from an operational perspective. I look at it from a fiscal perspective as well as staffing, not staffing operationally, but staffing in the office area. And then we all look at it from an operational, do we have the apparatus? Can we afford it? What does it look like here locally? And then I make the final decision on whether or not we send a resource or not. So I will never say yes or I never say no, but what I will tell you is I will evaluate each one of them independently.
Great question. Anything else for good of the order? Hearing none, I'll adjourn the next June 27th meeting at 6:31 p.m.